You're going to be legendary when he's done with you, Zach.
By the time we're done, it will be legendary. Let's do this. All right, everybody. Welcome to the Small Business Safari. And as always, cheers.
Cheers.
Alan, good to see you.
Cheers.
And
Cheers.
Zach Levy is with us. Welcome to the Small Business Safari, where I help guide you to avoid those traps, pitfalls, and dangers that lurk when navigating the wild world of small business ownership. I'll share those gold nuggets of information and invite guests to help accelerate your ascent to that mountaintop of success. It's a jungle out there, and I want to help you traverse through the levels of owning your own business that can get you bogged down and distract you from hitting your own personal and professional goals. So strap in, adventure team, and let's take a ride through the safari and get you to the mountaintop. Before we get too far into it, I'm going to go ahead and do the boring stuff and talk about Zach's bio. Or do we talk about what we talked about before we got on the podcast, which is we can sit here and diddle buttons, or we can talk about business. So
just don't tell the joke you just told.
All right. Well, we are explicit, but that one's probably going to take us right over the top.
Yeah.
That goes to a whole new rating.
Yeah. I think there might be protests on that one.
That one. Or I could get my own OnlyFans.
Right.
I just found out what that was over the weekend.
I don't know what that is. I don't want to know what
You don't want to know what that is, but it's another way to make money, I guess.
It'd be the first subscription I sign up for.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody be signed up the way I heard it, at least. So we'll pass on that. So we've got Zach in studio, and Alan has never had a chance to meet Zach. And I told him, he goes, well, Chris, I like to be prepared. I want to know who I'm talking to. And I'm like, nope. This guy's too cool. You're going to just love talking to him. So surprise.
Yeah.
Surprise.
I'm going in cold.
Yep. So Zach, as you can tell, Alan, we've had some great guests on, and we don't seem to find anybody who's older than us except my dad. So you can tell what I try to do is collect younger people
with full heads of hair.
And
a guy that works out like us.
He works out a little bit like us. You know what? One day he wants to work out like us. I know that. Yeah. And that is raising the curls of beer as opposed to raising the megatons of weight that he does as he lifts. So I told him, I said, his tag has got to be, I am your fitness coach in life, in workout, and in finance. So I slept in a little bit about what Zach does, but I love his history before he did all this. So Zach came out of high school, went to college, thought he knew what he wanted to do, but didn't really land where he thought he was going to. He had a family history of being an entrepreneur, but he went off and said, nah, I'm going to go do something different, and I'm going to go work for a company. So he went off. And did you work in a fitness place first or Waffle House?
So it was fitness first, started off individual personal training, and then got the nice carrot of a salary dangling in front of me. It's like, ooh, that looks really pretty. That was a lie. But was a personal training director for LA Fitness for a few years at that point.
So check this out. He does the fitness thing. He gets the salary dangled in front of him. Obviously, he was the bait and switch. But I love his next career move. So instead of being around people who want to get in shape and be nothing but healthy, he says, I'm going to go work for Waffle House.
Two ends of the spectrum there.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah.
So how did that go?
Heart attacks. So it was interesting. It was very different, to say the least, going from that industry to Waffle House. It was, again, the offer of climbing more of a ladder, more money for what was supposed to be more vacation time at the same time. And then I realized, they give you that because otherwise you go clinically insane. So that was fun. So 80-hour weeks. And if you've ever been to Waffle House on third shift, Alan,
I was just thinking you've probably got a lot of really good Waffle House stories. We could probably just fill this podcast with the crap that happened after midnight at Waffle House.
Yeah.
I think there's some life lessons in there.
There's a ton.
I know I've learned a few of them.
I used to use Waffle House when I was teaching customer service classes, just because, customer service is just such a dead art. I'm like, if you can go in at 2 a.m. in a Waffle House and somebody who's made a lot of bad life decisions with no teeth in their head can actually look at you and say, welcome to Waffle House, then I think you can step up your game a little bit here too.
So
True.
yeah. So you
Yeah.
learned a lot about customer service there.
Huh?
And flipping waffles, cracking eggs, cracking heads.
Doing crack off the soap dispenser. But I mean, I might have caught a couple people doing that. That was fun.
Is that grounds for dismissal at the Waffle House?
That actually was, yes.
That one was.
That one.
So there is a line.
There were a few lines,
Oh,
actually. Yeah.
But I'm sure one of the things would be I'm going to have to give you a warning, and that would be what? Just doing pot while he's cooking the eggs.
I mean, between cooking the eggs.
Okay.
So
Not
since
with
the health
dangling-
code got passed, you can't smoke while cooking. So
All right, so he goes off. He does the Waffle House thing, and then says,
So the corporation made a couple changes, and that resulted in less, more room in my wallet, I will say. So less things filling it up, and opportunity came along that somebody said, hey, you should take a look at this whole finance thing, which is a field I never saw myself in, because for me, that was a old stuffy dude in a suit. But
He looked at you, Chris.
he did really. he looked away because he's like, I don't want to insult him right away, right to his face. Old Guffy.
But he was in the process of insulting you and then caught it.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
smart.
It was
good
smooth.
filter.
Yeah,
Obviously.
well, you
Another-
shifted
another
gears
gold
in
nugget.
life before that happened to you.
Yeah.
Thank God. So knowing your story, you were on that track though.
I was.
But no, I just I always wanted to be in a field where I could make a massive impact on people's lives, really change lives, touch people in a big way. And I saw this just absolute disparity for financial literacy in not just, lower income, middle income, but all the way up the chain. And there was a lot of misinformation, a lot of just crap that was preached that was actually screwing people. I was like, hey, if I can argue with somebody and be right, I'm in.
I like it. So taking the skill set of if you can argue with somebody,
Normally that leads to a law career
right? But
Yeah.
no,
Well, interestingly enough,
or politics.
so I started at Georgia State. My first look at what I thought I wanted to do before fitness was poli-sci pre-law.
There you go.
So that was what I thought I wanted to originally do. And then I learned more about the legal system and the political system. And I went, nah.
So do you think you had that aha moment where you said, I'm going to do this? Did you have something negative that would kind of flipped in your gut and said, that's it, I'm out? I know Waffle House took a little bit of your money away.
I was gonna say the doing crack off the soap dispenser. Could that have been one?
Well, I just want to
The
figure out
catalyst?
which trigger it was. Was it was it the meth off the soap dispenser, the actual cooking of the meth, or was it the fact they took away a little money? I don't know.
And by the way, we do probably all love Waffle House.
No, I still go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
And as a fitness person, just to plug, you can eat healthy at Waffle House. It's just not on the menu. You have no to ask. I charge $5 per tip. No, but but with that, so it was one, there was a shift in our pay structure. So same work, less money. I was working 80 plus hours a week, which resulted in a divorce. So that was one.
That helped.
Yeah, a little bit. And it was just as much as I went to, executive management and things about, hey, my lifestyle just changed because of the shit that y'all did. Then they were like, oh, well, sorry, I think.
That
Just
was
do
it.
your job.
That was their response.
Yeah.
So obviously not an inspiring leader to work for.
No, not at all.
So you go to make this leap and do this, and you have that. This is the only opportunity that was presented that you thought about and said, this is where I'm going? Or did you evaluate other ones before you did this?
I didn't really see another one. It was because when I was in that space, when you're working 80 hours a week on call, 24/7, 365, I didn't have the mental capacity to think about anything else. And so when this came along, it was like,
There's an open door. I'll just walk through it.
yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
So was it the opportunity or was it the individual that you were sold most on?
Both.
Both.
It was, if it wouldn't have been that individual, I wouldn't have looked at the opportunity.
There you go.
So it was actually a mentor from the fitness industry that approached me about it, that had shifted career paths as well. And there was an already established trust there because it was the only person I liked with LA Fitness.
That's a big statement right there. It's
Yeah.
a big company and it's the only guy I liked.
Yeah. So I said, you know what, if you're saying I can do this and I can basically hook my wagon to you and learn, let's go for it.
I think the part that I took away when I've heard this story before that I really thought was cool was I know this individual as well, and I think he's a great guy. But, now sitting in the positions we sit in, or you're sitting here listening to this podcast, sometimes when you invite somebody along on the journey, you need to realize that your trust that you built up with that person may go a long way, and you never know, they might actually come along with you. And I thought that was pretty cool because that would not have been the industry I would have picked either. But had I had somebody that I really trusted say, hey man, come do this and look what you can do. You said you want to leave a lasting legacy impact on people. This is an opportunity for you to do it. And this is it. I mean, because I would have had to be sold on it, but the right person selling it, I think a lot of times we miss that trust that people have in us when we start telling them things.
To be fair, I didn't really see all that until later. I saw it's not Waffle House and you can make money.
There we go. And sometimes even that.
So on behalf of the listeners, can you tell me what it is?
It?
Yeah.
The it of trust? I think.
No. The it. What are you doing?
Oh, you want to know what Zach does?
Yeah.
Oh, that's so boring. All right, Zach, tell us what you do.
Generally speaking, my wife and I own a nationwide financial service business. So helping people fix money problems. We'll leave it at that.
He has to watch himself because of code compliance, because
there's
we are nationwide, we're worldwide, we're Mr. 305.
We are in a number of other countries.
We are in multiple countries, but he's got to watch himself. Yeah. So he helps people with financial fitness. That's why I keep telling him, by the time he's done, we're going to have with this podcast, we're going to have his moniker already figured out.
My LinkedIn is your financial fitness coach, training your money to work for you. Thank you to Chris Lalamia for that.
Let's go.
Good job, Chris.
Do you think it works?
Yeah, so far, I still need to kind of understand what's happening.
So you go out and you make money. And then what do you do with the money? Well, I know you
like to spend it.
Yes. I was going to say, you like to make sure it doesn't come home. You got to make sure it doesn't get inside the four walls, because that accountant's going to grab it.
Exactly. The truth of the matter is I'm married to an accountant. So I just go, here you go, dear.
I mean, with everything I do, I coach people on money, right? My wife is the CFO. I get it.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, that's important to get early.
Yes.
Because it took us a little while. Early. Remember, that's another life lesson. Pick your partner well and listen early.
Well, I'll just put it this way. All the money, 6 figures I was making in the corporate world, I didn't have crap to show for it. And then I meet my wife and she's 23, debt free, and has almost 50 grand in her savings account. And I was like,
how'd you do that?
I was like,
In the golfing business, which it sounds sexy, it sounds cool, but if you know anything about that world, man, it is long hours and not a lot of pay.
Because everybody wants.
She was making pretty decent money for coming straight out of college. She was one of the teaching pros over at Atlanta Athletic Club. So
that's pretty cool.
She was doing pretty well.
So we're here to talk about your business, but we can't ask you any questions about it.
You can't ask.
This is like the CIA.
Well, right. So
that's really what I do.
So which
I just got some people killed.
Uh-oh. I think you did.
Oh.
So we can't ask him about, should we invest in this or invest in that? Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. But we'll ask him offline, maybe.
You'll TikTok it in 2 seconds. Don't tell him anything, Zach.
I will.
Yeah.
So invest in rubies or not? Or ruples? What's the what is the
Zimbabwean dollars? Yes.
There we go. I think Venezuela has a great economy. You should invest in that one.
This is all sarcasm, not investment advice.
Thank you. This is not investment advice.
So who's your typical customer? Let's ask that. Can we ask that?
So I've kind of got 2 different groups of customers. So there's one that is the professional, middle to upper middle class, up family, young kids, etc., really getting life rolling with the right resources to be able to do so. And then there's the 55 and up that's looking at everything and going, what's going on and how do I figure this out?
Are you doing investment planning, or are you actually just helping them manage their day-to-day cash? And can I not ask that?
No, but I can answer.
Can't ask that.
No, you can't.
Why can't I ask that?
That's why I didn't want you to know who I was bringing on, because I knew there's a whole kinds of questions that you're each going to ask. That
you're enjoying this way too much. There's a word for that, Schadenfreude. That is you. I'm pointing at you.
I don't even know what that is, but I
It's
think you
delighting
just
in the misery of others.
I do enjoy that.
Mm.
But I'd like this. So your avatar, going back to that for a minute, it's that family of four, maybe young 30s. They're just got their maybe dual incomes going, maybe one good income, but they've got the young kids. They got their first house. They're starting to see that they have a little bit more money than time, and they finally have some opportunities to invest this money somewhere or keep that money that they brought in, because
just figure out a game plan is the way I like to put it, very generally, because it's not ever one size fits all.
So if you can't say what you do, then how do people know that they need it?
They find me on LinkedIn and talk to me one-on-one.
Okay.
We'll put all that in the show notes, and we'll make sure we tag the hell out of that.
They make a little chalk mark on the corner of the street and sit at a bench, and then he sits down next to him.
I actually use carrier pigeons.
Yeah. Okay.
Nice. Can't be tracked. That's right. And just imagine trench coats, benches, DC, all of it going down that way.
Yeah.
And the next thing you know,
Duffel bags full of money.
I got a guy. I know a guy. This guy's going to do this. I got a guy for that thing. Okay, what's the thing? Can't tell you. Alan's going to keep asking. He's going to keep trying to crack that nut, and we can't do it because we're going to keep Zach in business.
I'm almost speechless.
Oh, no, you can't be almost speechless.
Yeah.
We can get into other stuff, though.
Waffle House stories.
No, we could talk about
Waffle
why
House
he did
stories, business principles, not business principles.
Not business principles. I like that.
Those
one.
are fun.
What would you say are some of the common traits of people that you help that they need help with? Can you answer that?
Complete, not even complete, but I'll just put it this way. I use this line. There wasn't a class in school called How to Win the Money Game and Become Wealthy. We were taught, go to school, get an education, get a good job, and good luck.
Right.
That's where most people sit. And then they read on the internet that what they think is great advice, and they try to apply it, and then they end up running themselves into, a meat grinder or something, metaphorically speaking, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Not at Waffle House.
No, the patties come pre-ground now. So,
Oh, thank God.
is that Susie's finger? I don't know, but it's just overall understanding that space and how the operations and things work to be able to apply them properly to their specific situation.
Am I allowed to speak about what I do without talking about what you do with my money, or no? Is that legal?
As long as you don't ask me questions, I guess.
All right, good.
So hypothetically, Chris,
hypothetically, let's talk about when we were that person we just talked about. We had the 2 jobs. We had our first house. We had a kid, and we had done the stuff that my dad told me to do, which was very first thing you do when you go work at a company is invest in your 401k, because if you don't see that money, you'll never spend that money. But if you see it, you'll spend it. And by the way, he's right,
mm-hmm.
because where I'm sitting retirement wise is really all from the first 15 years I was in corporate America doing that. But it starts to get more complicated and you start to get a little bit more money. But what do we like to do in the US when we have a little bit more
I know
money?
what you like to do.
I like to invest in alcohol.
Boats.
I had a boat. I have a
Daytona 500.
I
Trip
do
to Spain.
Las Vegas.
I invest
Vegas.
in experiences. I invest in experiences, guys. Come on now. I'm like a millennial. I'm investing in my experiences.
Can't take it with you, right, Chris? You
I'm-
may as well just.
In fact, the way I'm burning, I think 62.
Your kids don't need anything. They need to learn the hard way, like I did.
There he goes again. Give me that damn it doll. I got to learn the hard way. I need to make it to 62 and then I'll be set. But if I don't make it there, you'll know what happened. I invested in too many experiences. So Zach helps people out figuring out things like one thing I learned was, you start making a little bit of money and your company offers you this benefit and this benefit, but you don't take it. So what's that? Well, I never thought about life insurance because I'm like, screw it. If I die, I don't care. But I had kids. Oh, damn it.
Always getting in the way. Do better, Chris.
Yeah. So that's the
Do
line.
better.
That's the line.
Oh
of my
no,
daughter.
I might have been listening to Andy's episode on the way here. So yeah, inspirational quotes.
Oh yes, inspirational quotes for my daughter. Do better. Dad, did you bring the Bloody Mary mix for Easter? I said no. You always let me down, Dad. Thank you, Sydney. I am so glad I got life insurance policy to make sure
on a podcast.
We do. You know what? I think I'm
That
going to have
would
to
be
get her on
gold.
a podcast.
That would be wonderful.
But again, you can't ask her questions because she's in the medical field. So every time you ask her a question, she goes, I can't answer that because of HIPAA. I'm like, dude, what? I'm not talking about hippos. HIPAA, Dad. HIPAA. I'm like, oh. I said, who am I going to tell? I mean, it's not like I have a podcast, but let me tell you this one story. No, so you had kids and you realized if you go and you have kids in, let's say, private school, hypothetically, and they wanted to go to college, hypothetically, I realized that the money I had wouldn't make it. So I had to go get this thing called a life insurance policy. And I thought it was like all insurances, right? I think they suck. But there's a reason for them. But I had to have somebody explain it to me. I'm going back years ago. And I'm not saying Zach does that. I'm just saying I did that for myself. And then I learned that your company can only do so much with your 401k. So yeah, are you really managing the way that works? And I had no desire to look at the stock market because I was out there just a squirrel trying to find a nut, right, and bring it back to the house. But I didn't realize that once the nut got there, it could start to blossom.
Your nuts blossom.
So
is that the moral of this story?
So here's your nuggets, right? My nuts have blossomed.
Well, and on
so
that
Zach makes my nuts blossom.
Well, there's your new
That's
tagline.
why you wanted me on the podcast. Got it. That's why there's the furry walls. There it is.
And that's right. In studio, we've got our safari skins all over the place in here because it is the wild world of running your own business. But when I did take the leap and I lost the corporate help, if you will, I had all this money sitting in this 401k, and you're like, I was being told, are you actively managing that? Well, what the hell's that mean?
Day trading.
So funny enough, I went off and started day trading. No, I did not. I watched a guy actually in my neighborhood, very successful corporate career, retires early. And I see him out in our neighborhood. I'm walking and he says, yeah, I'm day trading. I'm like, oh yeah, good for you. A year later, divorced, gone, never heard from him again. I'm like, how'd that go? I'm pretty sure he didn't move on up, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, no.
He was not the Jeffersons there.
No.
Are we allowed to say that?
Yes.
We're doing good so far?
We're doing good.
Thank you. I feel like I have the compliance officer in here.
Yeah, I'm nervous.
Welcome to my world. No.
Well, okay, let me ask you this. Is there a difference between what you do and, let's say, a fidelity advisor?
Yes, because there's the big group approach and then there's the individual approach.
Okay.
Right. And a lot of times there's a 1-800 number and then there's my cell phone number, if that makes sense. So there's personal relationship. There's, actually making sure things are going in the right direction. There's a personal touch, just things I've experienced, vice versa.
Does your cell phone work when the market goes down 20%?
It works every time.
Sounds like we have a personal experience here. Where the cell phone got turned off from Alan's advisor.
Curious.
I've heard a family story in my family that happened. So yeah,
it does happen.
It's actually a big part of my why is that whole 2008 thing that happened.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll just put it this way. I may or may not have to be working if somebody had done the right things.
Well, I can say the same thing, except for that somebody was me.
So Zach, what you don't know, but our listeners do know, is that Alan is the most successful failed entrepreneur I've ever met in my life. And he got bit by the 2008. And we've talked about this before. I mean, you can be a great person with a great plan and be the best leader in the world and have the best people on your team, but those outside influences can absolutely take you out and you don't even know where they're coming from, aka recession, aka pandemic, whatever it may be. So in Alan's case, when I did know him, I don't care if you're Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos. I mean, pick another person you think is even better than Alan, which I don't think they are, by the way, Alan.
There's
I think
lots
you're better.
of them. Oh, every one of your guests.
He had an interior designer, interior design business with furniture and a pretty expensive storefront in 2008. And last time I remember those days. I remember people just stopped by.
It's a pizza place now.
Is it really?
Yeah. They make a pretty good pie.
So should have had that. All right. So
he's pointing at the scotch.
All right. Hang on one second. These guys are asking me, hey, how come you're not recording? I was like, because I'm putting my armpit over my microphone to make sure that Zach gets a
That's
bourbon.
part of the new OnlyFans account.
Oh, come smell.
There's
come
a
smell
market
my
for it,
microphone.
I am sure.
Yeah. I don't know about that one, but yeah. So going back to that, I joked about Alan being the most successful failed entrepreneur, but what did he do? He pivoted, he solved problems, he worked his way through, tried a couple of other things, and now a successful commercial real estate broker here in Atlanta doing great work. So there you go. I give you a prop.
Thanks. Life's a journey.
That was your comeback right there.
That's it.
Wow, Chris. Thank you so much for being so nice about that.
Yeah, thanks, Chris. I appreciate that.
Right here, buddy. Right here.
It's all about Chris.
All about me, buddy. So let me do another.
Chris, that was
analogy.
a great compliment.
Thank you.
You changed my life, really.
That didn't help. All right. So what does Zach do? Let's do this.
I drink bourbon, and this is great.
That's High West whiskey, baby. That is good stuff. So you can work on your own house and fix it, or you could hire a professional and they could fix it, and hopefully they fix it a lot better. You could remodel your bathroom by yourself.
I don't like games where I'm the only one who doesn't know the game.
Okay. The game is you can hire a professional to help you, or you can try to do it yourself. Because I've heard so many people say that, I'll just do this all myself. I'm like, really? Okay, good. Especially after my banking world of finding out all these different things that you can do that are way above just saving it and sticking it in the mattress. And the it there is cash, money. Did I help?
I guess.
Oh, I'm about to help you out. Hold on just
I
a
really
second.
appreciate it. I'm just going to sit here and drink beer until you guys freaking get to the point.
How about, maybe we can talk about things outside of work. No, not back to Waffle House.
Hold on. Let's see.
If they brought cocaine back to Coca-Cola, I think I'd start drinking it. There's a gold nugget for you. How about that one?
Less headaches all day.
There you go.
And all night.
Don't drink Coca-Cola, but will if, there you go. Maybe Coca-Cola could be one of our sponsors soon.
Zach's working on something over there.
Bring the cocaine.
Just pass that over to Alan. That'll answer all of his questions.
Of course, I don't have my glasses.
Here, let me give the community readers to Alan.
Thank you.
These are the old man community readers. Now we're back in, and Zach and I will entertain ourselves while Alan reads about what Zach does without telling the audience, so we can stay in compliance.
So are we going to do riddles or dad jokes? What do we want to go with?
Oh, dad jokes. Oh, my favorite ones. I'm trying to think of my favorite.
What did the janitor say when he jumped out of the closet?
Supplies.
Supplies.
Oh, sorry. I was talking about the Asian janitor.
No, you can't do that.
Oh, no, we just got canceled. Damn it. Where's our compliance officer? Son of a. That's good stuff. Yeah, and that's why people tune into this, to learn all about business and all about what you can't say. But it's called Irreverent Gritty Advice, the Small Business Safari. That's why we're here, baby.
It's a jungle.
It is a jungle out there, and we're just trying to get through it. And we're still trying to fill for Alan.
Talk about pay yourself first. I love that concept.
So with that, and that's one of the biggest things, is most people, we get that good paycheck, and then all of a sudden there's a car note, there's a house note, there's a TV note because we decided to finance it because we could, and all that stuff, and everybody pays their bills, but then everybody else is getting paid, but you're not.
So Zach, are you saying don't pay your bills?
I would say pay yourself before a lot of things. Make sure that's a priority, and if you do that from the get-go, it will always be a piece.
Can you give me an example?
So if it was taught in school, right? If that was something from the first time you ever got a paycheck that you were taught, okay, here's a percentage that this is your bill to yourself, and that proportion stayed the same, right? That sliced the pie. The bigger the pie got, the same proportion of that pie got paid to you, then we wouldn't have the issues of looming unpayable debt and working until dead that we do.
Chris, what are you doing?
I was just checking some Facebook comments. And
we need to move the Facebook back here.
Because, how are you looking at it too much? So Andy's listening in right now on Facebook while we're listening. He said, "This is so good that I'm going to have to go pour myself my own bourbon and watch this dumpster fire go down." I'm like, perfectly said.
Thank you,
friend.
Andy.
Yeah, dumpster fire engaged. Here we go.
Love you,
Let's light
Andy.
this sucker.
Andy needs to come over here and sit on my side.
Yeah. You know what? We're doing this again. And then we can start talking about other stuff. But let's keep talking about what you just asked, which I don't remember.
Pay yourself first.
Yeah. So you didn't believe in that.
No, I love the idea, but I don't, I would love a little bit more explanation about, okay, it sounds like you have a choice of paying yourself or paying your bills.
Well, if you set up the bill to yourself first, which if you're already on the other side, you have to figure out how to steer the ship back, which is part of the whole process.
By the way, for the listeners, he's using really good hand gestures like a politician.
He is, dude. Those are great. You know what?
It's a papal move.
That was a papal move. I think he was giving us the cross. Way to go. If you're on one side and you come back to the other side, you stand up, you sit down, you kneel. Make up your mind, you Catholics. Oh, that's us. Let me help. I think I can explain because I got my first job. I came out of school and my first job was a mechanical engineering degree, and I had my master's in mechanical engineering. I was going to go out and ton it, brother. I mean, absolutely flipping ton it. And I met my now wife at the time, and she was making $52,000 a year, and she was a packaging engineer, which I made fun of. My first offer and the job I took, I made $38,000 a year. So how's that packaging degree?
Yeah, I was going to say,
master's.
She probably didn't mention that, did she?
No. So what's the first thing I do? Well, I've always wanted an SUV. So I went out and got a Ford Explorer, $475 note. And then I went to work in manufacturing. We had to have.
Now, is that paying yourself first, buying yourself an SUV?
I used to think it was back in the good old Wahoo days. So I did something similar. Is I got a nice promotion to district manager, and that bumped me over six figures. And I was like, "Ooh, new F-150, like fully loaded."
I like the way you think.
Yes,
yeah.
Built for it tough, but there's an $800 a month truck note. Right. I'm like, I can squeeze into the budget to pay everybody else. But then I'm going, okay, well, there's no money in my accounts at the end of the month because I'm paying everybody else. Right. So crap hits the fan. I'm up the creek without a paddle. Right.
I kept going. So next thing I got was a boat.
Thankfully, I never got a boat.
I did get a boat. I got the Go Fast boat. I got the ski boat. I said, let's rock and roll. Big Daddy's making 38 grand a year. Let's rock it, baby. We bought a house. It had the $475 a month note on that. Had a couple of more hundred on the boat. I'm having to buy ties and like nice clothes to work as an engineer, which is an oxymoron because I was out in the machine shop a lot, but I'm doing all that stuff.
You got to buy boat accessories.
Of course you do. I had to have the best skis, baby, and a good ski. But yeah, I was like, hey, am I saving any money? No, not a dime. And so I also wanted to have every single cable channel possible because I love watching sports. And I was Mr. Pie Chart I was our financer in the house. And I told my wife, I'm like, look, we've got to start finding a way to save money. And she looks at me and she says, well, how about we get rid of that cable? Like, whoa.
We could cut back on food, honey.
Yeah, no. Yeah. Stock ramen. It's good stuff, man. It's a bucket piece.
Chicken or beef?
Right. Chicken stock.
All right. So I'm going to ask the obvious question: is paying yourself actually not paying yourself, but actually saving?
Not even saving.
Oh, God. Andy, help me.
No. Saving in the sense that we were all taught to do it, right? In a good old savings account is what most people save means saving account. They're going to be broke, right? Because, not that anything's getting drastically more expensive every week currently.
It is true. Money in the savings account is losing money.
Right.
Yeah.
But actually getting it into vehicles where it's going to work harder than the cost of living.
And when he says vehicle, Chris, he doesn't mean your SUV.
Not an actual SUV. That actually depreciates.
So to come back to that, I actually had to sell the thing and I ended up with an Oldsmobile Achieva with $200 a month. So
totally an Achieva.
Yeah, exactly. I was achieving more. It was this little sedan, no nothing car that got me back and forth to work. And that's all I needed because we needed to put that $200, $250 to other stuff.
Huh.
Yep. So that's back to paying yourself. And that, I think that's the concept of that. And then also your best time to do the savings and to do the investment vehicles is in that 20s and 30s, because like I said, if I can make it to 62, I'll be all right. Right now, let's not
50-50.
I might start putting odds on
well,
that.
you got, yeah. I mean, you do live large. I think your wife might kill you. Your daughter might kill you
If she knows that life insurance policy is still out there.
Yeah.
I
You've
think
really got a lot of things against you right now, Chris.
I do have a lot of external forces against me. I might have to stay low. I might have to stay here at the podcast.
Witness protection program for Chris.
So yeah, I mean, when you start thinking about doing it early like that is such an important financial discipline. And you weren't thinking about that. Well, I wasn't, at least. Again, yeah, could you do day trading? And today you've got all these other things you can go out there and you get a little stock tip and decide you're going to get into GameStop because you heard GameStop is good and you go invest in it now. And what happens? You blow it.
And I'll say this: everybody chases the sexiest thing that they see. I mean, I did. That's why I married my wife. But I mean, financially speaking, right? And then all of a sudden, they're like, "Where's my money?" Right? Because they're chasing a fad. But really, to give a very general synopsis, it's about the fundamental concepts and behaviors around finance. That's what we do. Teach that and apply that to teach wealth building principles more so.
Yeah. I mean, how about this? We could translate over to his personal life and the bodybuilding that he and his wife do. They're really into fitness, and that's why the fitness coach part. So you could, can I keep going?
Yes. No, sorry. The mic's fighting me.
Okay. I thought I was getting the compliance.
No,
you can't talk about bodybuilding. You can't talk about weightlifting. I'm like, wait a minute, that has nothing to do with money. But you could go to the gym and work out by yourself all the time. But will you push yourself and do this? I remember I had a good friend who played in the NFL, and he used to pay a personal trainer $40,000 a year to help him lift. And I said, JH, I mean, is it because he's stronger than you? He goes, oh, hell no. And I lift him up a day, but he got my ass out of bed and made me go work out so I could keep and stay in the NFL as long as I did. So you could do it yourself, or you could have somebody help you with it.
No, and there's countless examples of that. I mean, Tiger Woods, I mean, how many different coaches did he have when he was at the top of his game? He had a swing coach. You've got Tom Brady, nutrition.
Yeah,
everything.
I mean, even college athletes now. I was talking to Meghan about this, and Megan's my wife, if I didn't mention her name. But, I mean, she played D1 on a full-ride scholarship at UNCW. And we were watching tournament this weekend, and I made a comment. I was like, the younger golfers are looking more and more like athletes now. Like they're actually vascular and somewhat shredded, and not the John Daly's of the world, right?
They're not as much fun.
They're not as much fun, but I was like, that's interesting. She goes, yeah, because the newer age of golf, they're actually treating them like athletes, and the top performing athletes in any field, probably outside of cornhole, because that's considered an actual professional sport now. But by the way, we should talk about putting together a team.
We could be professional athletes,
but
Chris.
But they've got nutritionists, they've got weight training coaches, they've got swing coaches. The whole TPX, fitness has become a thing. But where it in lies, that fitness, because that is still an integral part of our life. I mean, Meghan and I's first date, to give you an example, was working out together. And then getting breakfast. So
at Waffle House?
No, actually at Egg Harbor.
Oh, okay.
So
that?
Yes, actually right across the street from Chris. So
you could take this to an OnlyFans level and say they were going to work out and then they got breakfast together, which is one of my lines is, hey, baby, that dress looks good. And that dress will look good crumpled up at the end of my bed tomorrow morning. No, damn it. Let's go the wrong way. Damn it.
But let me shift gears back, because I don't even know how to follow that.
Please shift gears. Yeah.
So in the fitness bodybuilding world, right, the first piece to success is discipline, right? That transfers directly over, right? The second piece would be diversifying your workouts. So if you go in and you hit chest every single day on the same exact exercise, you're very quickly going to hit a plateau. And if you don't give the muscle rest, it's actually going to atrophy to a point to where you stop seeing growth. And then, so you've got to have it mixed up. You've got to change your plan to keep moving forward. And then the third one is to consistently work out and regularly work out, right? That's the three main concepts. It's the same in that world. Discipline to stick to the plan, diversification, and sticking to that specific plan every single month, every single week, whatever it may be.
I got all three fingers. What? No, I was counting with him. I was counting with him, Alan.
Good job, Chris. You had 2 left.
Oh,
I mean, he could have kept going.
Well, I think that's good though. But that's good in business.
3 main concepts.
I think it's great. 3 main concepts. 1, Alan, were you listening?
I was. I'm still just mystified by this whole cryptic conversation. I kind of feel like, do you remember it was at Ocean's 11 when Brad Pitt and George Clooney go meet the guy and they are speaking in prose and Matt Damon has no idea what's going on. And suddenly he starts quoting the lyrics of a song. And then he goes, well, what did I say? Well, he called his sister a whore.
Uh-oh. I don't remember that one.
You don't remember that?
Shoot. No, I was tracking with you up until then. I'm going to have to go back and watch that one. Great movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been a minute.
But cryptic, nonetheless, as we continue to make Alan's.
Well, just for the listeners, I mean, these guys will talk and all of a sudden they both just look at me and pause. I'm like, okay.
No pressure.
And Alan, go.
Yeah.
Well, Alan, because you have very little restrictions on you. You can say whatever you want.
Yeah. I want to hear more Waffle House stories.
Waffle House stories. Mine?
Do you have a Waffle House story?
No, actually, I don't have any good ones.
Okay.
that I remember.
Well, no good Waffle House story is remembered by anything but if there were pictures taken, if we're being fair.
That's true. Yeah. Well, I thank God I didn't grow up in that social media world when I was a kid.
I'm sorry. I've got a Waffle House story, but I don't think I will tell it.
No. I do like their food.
Yeah.
So I got that.
What's your order?
So I usually go the eggs, and I like their picante sauce. I don't actually even get waffles when I go to Waffle House.
Yeah, I don't either.
Yeah, I like it. I think I love their eggs.
When I moved to the South, I'd never had grits, and I was all excited. And so we went to Waffle House. I'm like, honey, I'm going to get some grits. And I ordered, and I got grits, and I didn't know what to do with them. So I waited until other people ordered grits. I didn't know if you put sugar on them or what. And that was my first experience with grits was at Waffle House.
I mean, being a Georgia boy born and raised, you do not put sugar on grits.
But no, I learned that. But actually now I get
my
omelet and grits and I dump the salsa all over it.
I love that salsa.
That's actually pretty good.
Yeah.
Their salsa is good. I like to slather my grits with butter and cheese to make sure I never taste the grit.
Basically.
Yes. All things good are covered up with cheese and butter.
So Zach, if we were to ask you a good question, what would it be?
That's actually a great question.
Oh, even better.
Look at that. Look at that. I asked the great question, Chris.
That's a great question. So Zach, if I were to ask you a question, what would it be? And he still didn't answer.
No.
Welcome to the CIA.
No, so what we can really dig into though is because I don't just work individually. I have people I lead nationally. I mean, 17 different states. So where I really thrive and what I enjoy even more is the business coaching and people development side of what I do. So, and we've got 22 licensed people out there that we've been developing from an infant basically in business to successful people in their respect.
So you got 22 people out there. They're out there doing their own thing and providing for their own families, working for you
right
now. That's pretty cool.
It is. It's rewarding at the same time.
And rewarding, Alan.
It's good to be rewarded, Chris.
It is. I like to be rewarded. But that's pretty cool that he's built that group up to 22 now. And he's got people who have taken that leap and in essence running their own business because they don't work for you. That's their own business.
Right.
They're out there being their own entrepreneurs
Right.
with you, helping to coach and build that
As a
community.
guide, yes.
As a guide.
Call me Gandalf, I guess. I don't know.
You shall not pass.
He's like Gandalf. Unfortunately, I went right to Yoda. Do.
Why? Because I'm
or
short?
not do. Don't try. No, of course not.
What would what if your daughter was Yoda? What would she have said to you?
Do better.
Yeah.
Better you do.
Better you
Better you do. Oh my God.
That's terrible.
I got to start writing some of this stuff down, life lessons for my daughter or inspirational quotes for my daughter, because they're amazing. Or how about, you don't understand, Dad? I'm like, oh, okay. Thank you. That one I love. She uses that one all the time.
Yeah.
I said, I don't understand how to be successful in business.
How old is she?
She is 23.
She's getting pretty close to the age where you're not going to be a dumbass anymore. You'd think the turn would happen.
I think,
25. Maybe.
It is hard work raising an independent, strong-willed girl. And I'm thrilled that she is. But did I mention it's hard damn work?
Mm-hmm.
And we said this before. I can't wait for her to bring a guy home for me to meet, because first thing I'm gonna do is like, you sure you're ready for this? Not me. Her. No, she's awesome. That's what I love about it, is that she is very independent. I never have to worry about her in life and what she's doing. I mean, she'd be a very successful adult. And she's on her way. She wants to be a PA, as physician's assistant. And so we're hoping that this is the year where she's actually going to go off and go to become a physician's assistant, or go to school, or at least get out of the house.
That was going to be my next question. Is it actual school or just go?
Get out. Get out. Time to leave. Yeah, she threatened. She goes, I might just go get an apartment with my friends. I'm like, well, back to that financial discipline that she doesn't have, that I didn't train her in. She doesn't have the money to do that. I'm like, I think right now your best thing is to stay here, to hear what I'm telling you, and to start putting more money away and quit going to Amazon and finding how much money you can spend with them. There's a gold nugget for you.
Amazon, the emptier of bank accounts.
Emptier of bank accounts. That should be their tagline.
It should.
You have money? We'll take it.
How much of it? All.
In every way. I told people on other podcasts, I think my business is Amazon proof, because they can't come in and start working on houses. And one guy challenged me and said, well, aren't they providing a service now where they can get providers there? I'm like, yes, they do, at a very cheap rate, but they don't vet them. They don't do anything. They're trying to get into that space. And when they first entered into it, they failed miserably, and they failed miserably only the way Amazon can, because they're going to come back and do it again. But Home Depot's tried, Lowe's has tried, Angie's List is trying, Home Service Advisor. All these guys are trying to provide that marketplace to give you a home service provider to bring you to your house, but they can't guarantee the quality of the experience or the customer service process. And that's where they fail and realize that it's just so hard. You have got to be on the ground to do this. And there you go. There's my plug for the Trusted Toolbox.
In Amazon, I actually heard a podcast the other day, and it was about when Barnes and Noble hit the scene. And you remember the movie You Got Mail with Tom Hanks and Meg Ryan, and she had the little bookstore, and it was really kind of a story about Barnes and Noble. He had Fox Books, and how they were putting all the little local booksellers out. Well, then, so Barnes and Noble becomes the big evil empire, and then Amazon comes along, and I don't remember this, but they were talking about in the podcast how Amazon was positioning themselves as the underdog against Barnes and Noble.
Well done.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a narrative that's hard to probably put
That
out
changed
there.
it a little bit, didn't it?
Yeah. Wow, look at them. Who takes out Amazon? Can somebody? Or a thing, an entity? I mean, so Amazon's there, Google is there. Does somebody unseat them?
It's going to take a major, major disruptor. I don't even know how one would.
I'm sure people said that about AT&T back in the days. Bell
Yeah,
Labs.
normally what happens is the big giant becomes so bloated that their
Right.
service is subpar. And so you have somebody that comes in and just starts nipping at their heels and they take market share. But,
Yeah.
I mean, Amazon makes it so freaking easy to buy something and you can send it back and you feel protected. They don't seem to have a chink in their armor right now.
But again, people said that about power companies, the phone company. There's got to be a disruptor eventually, right? Somebody, if you're listening to this podcast and you have the answer, please send me the email, because I won't steal the idea, but Alan will.
So Zach, you have 22 people that are on your team. Is it a team?
We'll call it that. Yeah.
Okay. And they're in 17 states?
Yes.
Wow. How does that process happen? Is it referral or?
Thank you to Zoom. Actually, what happened? So this whole thing called COVID,
Yeah.
I don't know if y'all heard about that.
Yeah.
But small event.
A little bit.
But no, so we were strictly local, face to face. Our office is in Alpharetta, and that's where we thrived, was within an hour kind of deal. And then Fulton County said, "Hey, you're not allowed to have your office open." And so we went via Zoom, and then all of a sudden, forced to go in the virtual world. And then one referral led to another, and all of a sudden, here we are operating in states I've never been to. I was like, this is kind of cool. Some of the states I never want to go to, but I'm like, they're doing great out there. Anything in the Midwest.
Oh, come on. Talk about cornhole.
Wait a minute. One of us is from the Midwest, and his name is not Alan. Buddy, I love Michigan.
It's too damn cold.
That's true. Well, there's a reason I'm down here in Atlanta.
You moved.
So you're obviously, if you're getting referrals, you're doing something right. And you talked about people development. What is it that you're bringing to the table with these guys and girls?
Good question, Alan.
Thank you.
A lot of it is really contrasting the corporate culture is a big goal of mine. So, Chris and I have had many conversations about this, but in the corporate world, you get praised when you do something wrong. Not praised, but you get recognized, I should say, when you do something wrong. Very rarely do you may get passed up for promotion when it's very well deserved, just because you didn't have as much brown stuff on your nose as the other person, and things like that. So, and where I feel a lot of corporate fails is in people development, in leadership development, and really seeing the best qualities in people. And a lot of times they're looking at, instead of their uniqueness and the unique qualities that they can deliver, the boxes that they don't check. And so, we strive to create an environment where somebody can come in and thrive, but also provide a duplicatable system that's, not personality driven, but system driven, for somebody to be able to plug in and play, develop themselves with a guiding hand, and, go from just a work processor to a work producer, then to a leader. So a system of really a self-development system, more so than a business system even.
That was it, huh?
I was just waiting for you to jump in.
I'm jumping in. I'm going to. That's right. I was going to give you some runway on that one, but I'm jumping in.
Okay.
Too late. You're out. I love two things that he said. One, he learned to pivot during the pandemic. Everybody says, "Oh, the pandemic, oh, so bad." Da, da, da. But look what he just did. He was able to grow and bring his passion for leadership and personal development into that. So my question is, when you get together and guide your team, how often are you talking about product or process, and how often are you talking about development and personal financial, or not financial, but personal discipline and personal habits?
So, and I can even say, I can answer that question both for the team and client side. I'm talking more about personal habits and personal disciplines on everything than I am product development or anything.
I think that's what makes, in me knowing Zach and what he does and how he brings his unique style to the table, is a lot of times isn't about the personal connection. It's about helping people with their personal habits and their personal life, and that will translate into something around business. But if you can show a genuine interest in somebody and show you genuinely are compassionate about them, which I've seen you do, I think that's something that people miss a lot.
Well, people don't know how much or care how much you know until they know how much you care. Right.
That's a good line.
And so taking it back to my fitness days, it's the same thing. If somebody wants to lose weight, but they've tried to lose weight, it's usually, it does have to do with their habits a lot of the time and their routines. But it also has to do with the way they feel about themselves, the way they feel about food, and the way, there's fears. And, I'm able to co-host with Andy on Generate Your Value podcast. We talk a lot about love versus fear. A lot of people have a lot of fear of what they don't know, even though it's better for them. So being able to show that compassion, show that, no, I'm actually here as a friend or a caring hand, rather than just somebody that's going to give you, a product or give you something. And then letting them, even better yet, it's about helping people, guiding them to figure out their own problems, providing tools and little breadcrumbs to where they pick up the breadcrumbs and they guide themselves to the better decisions.
Yeah, I think that goes across all lines of business. It doesn't matter what you're in. If you can show that, number one, you're passionate about it, but number two, you show that you're compassionate about them. And like you said, people care. Well, actually, you said
people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care.
I won't remember that one, but that's good. I like it.
Write it down, Chris.
I know. I got the 1, 2, 3s. I just didn't get that one. No, that's good. Well, we're coming to the end of our podcast. And I don't want to keep everybody here because we may have Zach back on, but we always have those stock 3 questions we've got to ask at the end. And I hope Zach is prepared, because our number 1 question is, here we go. What is your favorite feature of your house?
It's actually a hard question because I want to build, because I'm not a huge fan. To be honest, I was actually struggling to come up with an answer for that question when I was preparing for this. But the favorite feature of my house, it would really have to be that my master bedroom is on the main level.
So you don't have to go up and down stairs?
Exactly.
So the fitness guy says, I don't want to go up and down stairs.
Look, hold on. Pause.
He's been working on the chest, not the legs.
I like
false. Leg day is my favorite day. Thank you. But
we can go upstairs on leg day, Zach.
Oh, my office is upstairs. That's the fact that I don't like. Because I'm like, okay, I got to go do Zoom appointments. Oh God. But no, so that's the favorite aspect of my house, is the fact that I can just walk in the door and go straight to the bedroom and not have to worry about stairs or anything else.
All right. I'll take
There's
that.
not much else.
I'll accept that answer. We'll take that one. I don't know if that's in our top 10, but it's up there. All right. Next one. What is a customer service pet peeve? You go out there, you go out for some service, you go to a restaurant, you do whatever you're doing. What is a customer service pet peeve of yours?
Just freaking pay attention. So what I mean by that is, if you're ever talking to somebody and they're, again, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care, right? So if you've ever talked to somebody in a business mindset and you can tell all they're thinking about is their next response instead of actually listening and empathizing, even in waiting tables, right? So I'm the complicated guy when I go to a restaurant, because I have all kind of freaking food allergies. Chris knows this about me because he's heard my spiel. But so, if you're just immediate, just I say something and you have just an immediate response, and then because you're trying to give an immediate response, sometimes it doesn't make freaking sense. That's my biggest pet peeve, is listen to me and actually help so you can understand really what I want or what I'm trying to get, instead of just trying to give me a response or sell me something.
Well said. I like that one, because we talk about this quite a bit in the restaurant world, but in anything, if they're not listening to solving your problem or listening to what your major pain point is, and they're just trying to push a product.
Right.
Next, I'll see you later. Out. We're done. All right. Here's the next one. What is your biggest DIY nightmare or contractor story?
Biggest DIY nightmare would be trying to do electrical work on my own.
Oh, we got to get into this one. Finally, an electrical one. We've had so many water ones. Now
We
I got
had a
electrical.
ton of water ones.
Let's talk electrical. Go, big boy.
And it's a really simple one, which you might laugh at me for. So we had moved into our house and I bought a nice 75-inch to put in our living room. And there was an outlet box that was, down by the baseboards, standard low outlet box. And I was like, well, I don't want wires hanging down my wall. So I had seen this great TikTok. Thank you, TikTok, for almost getting me electrocuted.
Oh, just wait. We're TikToking after this.
About, DIY, just how easy it is to, tap into an outlet box for another outlet and just move it up a stud and all this stuff. And that didn't go well when, there were some sparks and things. And so thank God.
So you did it while it was live?
No, I'm not that stupid.
Okay, good.
Thankfully.
All right.
I don't want the death penalty via outlet box.
It doesn't kill you. And
it's quite a shocking experience. I've heard, though.
It is. It doesn't kill you. Hypothetically,
it's a little alarming.
Oh, I get it. Oh, look at you, dag jokers. It's shocking. It's alarming. All right, boys. It flipping hurts, but it knocks you on your butt.
I mean,
too.
when I was a kid, I did stick a butter knife in an outlet, so that was fun too.
Done that too.
But no. So immediately when I realized that I had somehow messed up the wiring, I just cut breakers to it and got somebody else to do it.
Smart move. So hire a professional when you don't know what you're doing.
Before I burn my house down.
There we go. I finally we get an electrical story. I've been dying to hear these stories because let's see. I put a knife in a toaster to get a piece of bread out. And
I've done that before too.
And I've had my thigh right up against the metal rail on the old countertops that we had. Yep, singed everything we had. Oh yeah. Then another time, growing up in the house I grew up in, we were working in our cellar. We had some water that had come down, and we had knob and tube wiring at the time, and it had fallen as well. And I went to move it in the water, and I grabbed it. And what happens with electrical currents is our whole body is based on electrical. And so you have muscles, and we've been talking about, I'm so glad you brought this up too. So Mr. Muscles over here, we all have muscles and they're all electrical. And so what happens when you get an electrical current on your arm or through your hand?
It's called seizing.
It clenches. I couldn't get the wire out of my hand. I'm in the water. The whole thing is, I'm shaking like this. And my dad's looking at me like, and all he's doing is yelling at me. What the hell are you doing? What the hell are you doing? I'm like, I can't get this thing off my hand. Finally, I was able to jump it loose. So I've got a lot of electrical stories. And I have a father-in-law who's an electrician. It is cheaper for me today, even today, to fly him and my mother-in-law down for an entire week to work on anything electrical in my house, because I can do a lot of things in the house, but electrical is one that it takes me a long time because I'm always really skittish. So with that, Zach, tell our listeners how they can hear about you and your story a little bit more, and maybe get a little bit more under the covers that we weren't allowed to talk about today.
Perfect. So you can find me on LinkedIn, just Zach Levy on LinkedIn, or my Instagram account, which is _Zach.Levy. That Levy is Levy. It looks like Levy, by the way. It is pronounced Levy. For the sake of God, it is pronounced Levy. Sorry, I've dealt with that my entire life. It's a pet peeve. Another customer service pet peeve is if you're not sure how to pronounce somebody's name, ask them.
We haven't gotten to that one yet because my last name is a killer. I actually trained my entire team.
Your last name's phonetic if you're not
I actually
illiterate.
I just had a guy do it on a podcast. Says, well, that's really easy to say. I'm like, well, dude, you're like in the 1% of the 1%. But let's keep going back to how we can find you some more.
And then Facebook is Zach Levy. So Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn.
Awesome. Knowing this guy personally, I would tell you, reach out to him, find out more about it. This is an interesting thing in the CIA world of what he does, but we can't talk about it. According to Alan, you want to reach out to this guy. And I'll tell you what, even a 30-minute conversation, this guy's going to let you know what it's like. And if you're a younger person, this is the kind of guy you want to be. So good luck, everybody. Keep going up that mountaintop of success, and let's go make it a great day.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Small Business Safari. Remember to keep that positive attitude, which will reflect in a higher altitude as you're out there making it happen in the wild world of small business ownership. Until next time, go make it a great day, Adventure Team.